welcome to yet another edition of Tournament TV. I'm your host, Ryan McDonald, along with Sean McInnes. How you doing, Sean?
I am excited. That's how I'm doing.
Call of Duty 4. This is our Conflict Zone Chaos tournament. As you can see, we're all kinds of fitted out for it. Got a few special surprises. Across the studio, we got Jody Robinson joining us, the community manager. Jody, how are you doing over there?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Now, tell me a little bit about what it's taken to get to this point. This is a big tournament. You've been doing it for 2 weeks, leading up to this finals match today. What do we got? How many teams have we seen? What are the big prizes? Give us the scoop.
Okay, it was. We started with 64 teams, 6 on each team, and right now we have the top 2 teams, which is T40 and Velocity, and we're pretty excited. I mean, 2 weeks going up from there to now it's going to be an exciting match. So another thing is the format will be a scenario of up to 500 points, and that's pretty much it.
Right on, Jody. Thank you so much. Now, Sean, we are joined by a special guest today. You know, some of the people in the past have been talking about our tournament television broadcast. Dude, this is the game we go home every night and play. So I think out of all the games, this is the one we know probably the most about. But just to make sure that everybody's cool out there in Tournament TV land, and to make sure we got the best experts possible, we are joined by a very special guest today, Sundance D. Giovanni, who is the co-founder, one of the co-founders of the MLG. The Major League Gaming. Hey, Sundance, how you doing? Thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Tell us what you're going to be doing with us today, and how much you know about Call of Duty 4, sir.
Well, I'm just going to sit back and kind of relax and let you guys do the hard work and just chime in on strategy and things like that whenever I see, you know, the different approaches the teams might take. Some rush in, some like to camp. So I'm just going to, you know, throw my 2 cents in there.
Excellent. Well, I know you were as eager as we to get the match underway. Jody Robinson, do you have all the players ready, set, and able to go?
Yes, we're going to go ahead and start, you guys.
All right. I've got this magic coin. Do you want me to flip this coin to decide who's going to be on which?
Yes. So you please do that.
All right. So Velocity, I'm going to say your heads, and I'm going to say T40 is tails. You guys ready? I'm going to throw this thing. Cool? All right. Let's try it out. Woo! Heads it is, so it's Velocity. Bam, look at that, you'll believe it. Bam, heads. So Velocity, that is your pick.
You guys get to choose the
And as we get those guys in there, Sean, you have actually gotten to see a lot of the preliminary action.
I have.
Some of the semifinals. What do you expect out of these 2 teams? Who's your favorite? What's going to happen?
I'm expecting a pretty close match. You know, at the beginning, we usually have a lot of blowouts, but it's actually been really close. I think that's because Call of Duty 4 is such a popular game, and so many people have been playing it. But I'm not sure. Both these teams look really good, so I think we'll have a pretty close one today.
Excellent. Hey, Jody Robinson, I know you're probably busy getting these guys into the actual server. What about you?
Chose Marines, so we'll go
Velocity
ahead and start.
chose Marines.
Okay.
What about what do you think you're going to see from this tournament today?
Me, personally?
Yes.
Oh, I kind of got, I have to unplug this because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but both teams have been really great. I would say SKS, Team 40, is my favorites just because, you know, they've just been really great sportsmanship and just gentlemen.
Well, let's get them in the server and let's get this match underway. Now, the match we're playing, of course, is going to be Domination on Strike. And, you know, Domination mode's all about...
It's all about capturing those flags.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Collecting points. The more flags you have, the more quickly you collect the points.
I'm going to... So now we're getting our cameras all spectator in the match. So go ahead and get your business set. And I am going to be following here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this action that we got here. We've got SKS right here on the screen, as well as Velocity. We have on one of the cameras in the back, we are able to see the map, so you should be able to see how the players are basically unfolding out there. But really, it's a battle. In Domination, you basically start out by A and C. One team basically instantly grabs A, one grabs instantly C, but right here, are you surprised to see that it's A and B that one team has, and C is yet to be grabbed over there, at least by these guys?
Yeah, well, actually, it looks like the Op4 might have grabbed C already, because he can. Is what it looks like on my screen. I'm looking at the Marines right now.
All right, so I should have actually picked the other guys then. Let's see here. All right. Hey, Sundance, what do you think about what you're seeing so far, sir?
Well, with Domination, a big key is how you rush out. And obviously, as we said, you know, you've got your flag that's close to home. But if you can rush to that middle flag and maybe get a nice setup around it, you're going to get bonus time. Because as soon as somebody dies, they're going to die back by your home flag. be able to grab that without too much pressure on it. It looks like that's what we see right here. The focus was on B in the beginning, and then it went back around.
And it's definitely all kinds of action at B as I'm watching this. It's basically just total spam grenades coming in. All kinds of guys from Velocity just dropping like flies trying to fight for it.
Yeah, just so everybody at home knows, we're going first to 500, so the team that gets to 500 first, that's what you're aiming for.
Now you're actually looking at B right now. You can see the Team 40 SKS coming in there. Nothing but smoke, grenades. Somebody's got a helicopter already up. Let's go into chase mode. I'm gonna pull up the scoreboard real quick and see in terms of the points we see. We got 4 kills at the top with EO Motivation.
Yep.
And we've got on SKS Go for Jeff. He's got 6. But really it's not about kills as much as it is about taking command of those control points and really
Yeah,
just
you
hanging
can
on to
definitely
them.
get as many kills as you want, but if you're not holding those flags, it's not going to matter for much.
So we got Velocity with, I'm sorry, Team 40 SKS looks like controlling C. B is, of course, being controlled by SKS. And I have a question for you, Sundance. On the level that you see in the MLG, is there anything that you're seeing with these guys that are playing in our GameSpot tournament that you're surprised by? Anything that they should be doing that they're not doing?
Well, I think if I'm SKS right now, I think about regrouping maybe, forgetting about B and circling around back and going for A. One of the big things that we always see with the MLG squads when they run this game type is you see strong side, weak side setups. You can't try and dominate all the flags all the time, but you also don't want to just give up a ton of free time. If you're running at that middle flag, the other team can set up for you, sit back, get a lot of kills, call in an airstrike and a helicopter, and then, it's just an easier job for them when they're racking up those kills. Now, the other thing you'll see is now it looks like they might even lose their home base flag right there. That's rough because they're always rushing that middle.
Now, I know when I play, that's definitely something that I have to kind of remind the guys on my team when we're playing. It seems that everybody gets so caught up about going after B. It's like they've got A or they've got C, and they just want to get that middle one and then do it. Yet, just like you said, though, sometimes it's so easy. You just walk one guy over to C on the other side of the map. Boom, you got that one, and then pretty much everybody is freaking out because they've lost one of the points, so they've got to send dudes from B to over to C, and then pretty much sometimes you can sneak in and get that one. Do you find that to be the case sometimes?
Yeah, as you'll see right here, so they finally get B, but now they don't have A and C. So you don't want to just trade flags. You want to try and hold the flag you have and grab the other one. But you're right. What it seems like they need is a strong communicator, somebody who can kind of lead the charge and say, let's slow down, let's send 2 or 3 guys. Because right now what I'm seeing is on spawn, guys running right out, tossing his grenades and getting into a firefight, and then he's respawning. So if you're in constant respawn, it's kind of tough to do anything.
Right.
Looks like they just had a little bit of success there, but again, now they got to hold him. So if there's only one guy left on the squad and everybody's respawning, then you're at a disadvantage. But I think this match looks like it could go back and forth for a while. And going to 500 is going to be interesting because it's not who gets the early lead, it's who can hold on to it and really establish map control.
Now, I know you've mentioned communication at the top there. I know whether it was Counter-Strike or any other team-based game, the team that definitely talks and communicates the best, it's usually the team that actually pulls it out because, everybody can shoot pretty good when you get to this level. But like you said, it's really the team that's going to communicate well and work together as a team and play heads-up ball is really where it's at, huh? What do you think about this business we're watching, Sean?
It looks pretty exciting right now. B is definitely the hot point, as it usually is. Right now I'm kind of trying to check it out, see which weapons that these teams are favoring. The guy with the most kills right now is Fear Luffy on the Marines, which is Velocity. And it looks like he was just rocking the M4. Is that what it looks like to you?
Let's see here. You got him running right there. Yeah, Fear Luffy.
He's got the M4 with a red dot sight.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of the M4. As you saw on our table, we have an M4A1 as one of our props.
Yeah, I've been checking that one out. It's kind of scary.
It's a lot of fun, though. Now, one thing that I definitely notice, Sundance, is when we're playing this and we're seeing these teams unfold and this whole match kind of come underway, it's basically once you start getting that roll going, though, and you get a helicopter, an airstrike out there, that's actually hard to compete against, especially on domination, since you know where people are going to be going. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. An airstrike on domination can be an amazing thing. You can take out a whole team if you time it right. And again, when you're on a roll, you can sit back, you get those 7 kills, you get your helicopter, then you rush right out and reset. I mean, the other thing is staying alive too long in domination doesn't necessarily help your team as much as being able to call in that radar, call in that airstrike, and call in that helicopter. But I don't think we have got to worry about these guys staying alive too much. It seems like this is pretty much a run and gun back and forth.
As we see Velocity closing in over here, trying to get their business captured. Jody Robinson, how's it from your side of the studio?
It's doing good, but I'd like you to describe why some people don't capture all flags, because I don't think a lot of people would understand why.
That's a very excellent question. I'm going to actually let Sundance talk about that. Sundance, I know when I play at home, sometimes when I've got some guys that are skilled and they know what's going on out there on the battlefield, they start yelling when I actually go for the 3rd control point. Why is that? What is the trick there with the whole spawning mechanism, and what's the heads-up smart way to play with that?
Well, if you've got control of the map and you're spread out, you're going to force spawn. I mean, essentially, if you're on one side of the map, they're going to spawn to the opposite side. So one of the things you want to try and do is just be aware. If you create pinch points, and we all know on the map, you've got those pinch points going into B. So if you're set up and you've got your flag, and then the B flag is in your possession, you're going to be able to get them as they roll through those tight corridors. But if you're spread out too thin, they can spawn behind you, and their reset will be they'll take your home flag and be able to make a rush at that middle flag. So controlling how balanced, how spread out you are, and again, a strong side, weak side approach can be better than trying to get all 3 flags. We typically, when we play, we say 2 flags is enough to win. Obviously, you're getting a lot more time than the other team is. You're doubling up, but it's going for that 3rd flag. Sometimes you get a little eager, and you find that it ends up hurting you in the end because they come back and they cycle through taking your home flag and then having a good position on their 2nd flag. So it's a really good point. Being too greedy does not work in domination. Be happy with a 2-to-1 advantage on flag.
I do want to say something that I noticed for the 2 weeks of matches. A lot of the teams would have a lot of pride, so they wanted to keep people under the 100 points mark because they were like in the 400, and they would capture the 3rd flag just to, I guess, make the match quicker. So something to...
Yeah, during that first round, I actually noticed a couple times where a few of the shorthanded teams, where it was 4 against 6, they actually ended up winning just because they kept to that strategy where they weren't trying to spread themselves too thin and go after all 3 at a time. Whereas the team with 6 players, it looked like they got a little cocky and they tried to get all 6, which, like Sundance said, isn't always the best strategy.
And here we are. If you're wondering, if you're just joining us, welcome to our Call of Duty 4 Conflict Zone Chaos Tournament. We are watching Team Velocity go up against Team 40, a.k.a. SAS, or say SKS, sorry. And right now, the match is going to go to 500 points. We are at 209 versus 138. That's not a huge score difference. I mean, that could pretty much just change in literally probably like a minute's worth of time. What'd you say, Sundance?
Yeah, domination can swing really quickly, like you said. If the other team gets on a bit of a roll, gets that flag lead back, gets a helicopter in there, a couple of airstrikes, you can gobble up time in domination. That's one of the reasons why I think it's such a hectic game and everybody gets so panicked when they're down. And again, it's with good reason, but you got to keep your head, you got to communicate, and you have to stick to your game plan.
We got a helicopter up here in the sky, and it is looking like it's wreaking some havoc. That is definitely a great tool to use, especially in domination. And I'm sorry, go ahead, Sean.
So, Sundance, I'd like to ask you, on this particular level that we're playing here, Strike, which are the 2 flags that you think are the easiest to hold for the duration of the match?
I like A and C and then run into that snipe spot. I mean, A and B and then run into that snipe spot above B. C to me, you can sneak around back there and you're really close to where your snipe spot would be going to be, and that snipe spot is blocked. It's tough. C doesn't give you a great angle at the B flag. So, it also really depends on your play style, I'll be honest with you. There are some people that I play with that's better because they like to be a little bit sneakier and not be as direct. Sometimes one of the things that we'll do is we'll bait flags. We'll sit back and we'll wait. We'll let the other team take us to that middle flag, then try and swoop in behind them and get them into a spawn trap where 3 or 4 of our guys are basically blocking the corridors while the other 2 guys are sniping and sitting up above over those flags. So, it really depends on play style for me. On this map, when I play online, though, I always seem to spawn A side and, have to come barreling down that hill. So, if I want to try and get in on the other side. So it's really a question of play style. I think it also depends on the size of the teams you play with. If you play with a larger team, you're going to be able to set up across the map a little bit wider. And if you've got a couple of good snipers on your squad, it can make a huge difference on this map.
And speaking of map, if it's possible, I think we have a map selection on one of the camera shots. So there you go. There's a look at the map. Basically, the layout is, on this map, would you say it's fairly symmetrical in terms of the way it's laid out, Sundance?
Well, that middle area, it's not even so much that there's symmetry, it's that there's a lot of narrow quarters. There's a lot of choke points, and I think that is really effective for a game type like this because you're going to have people barreling through, and it's a question of, being able to put shots on people as a team and also just, again, awareness and communication. So the great thing about this map is you've got to cover your angles. You've got to watch your six. You've got to have people who are looking at a lot of different spots because, again, on cycle spawn, if somebody spawns behind you, they can blow right through you. So you've got to be aware, but you also have to set up, a strong basis to protect your flags. Now, the thing that I really like about this map is if you're sneaky, you can do a lot of damage on it. There are a lot of nooks and crevices on this map where you can get in there with a silenced P90 and wreak havoc. I mean, it's a ton of fun. And in a domination game like this, one guy can really be the difference because he can essentially be running from flag to flag, as we're seeing right now, covering up. His teammates are taking fire. And, if you're smart about it, stay alive for a while, and you can do a lot of damage until you get to that airstrike of a helicopter. And, cause where this other team's going. They're going to your flag.
We saw it right there. It looked like for a half a second C was going to exchange hands, but then there was no dice. Everybody ran in there. It was guns blazing, the grenades going off, and nobody exchanged hands and nothing.
So Ryan, I'm noticing on Velocity, most of these guys are rolling with the MP5, which is just like a super accurate submachine gun. Have you noticed any weapon that's favored the most on your team there?
To be honest with you, lots of, you can see right there, there's Fear Luffy. On Velocity, he's got the M4. You've got Fear Moho right there with the RPD, the large machine gun. Then you've got more of these guys over here in A as I bring the camera down. And you can see SKS, of course, like you were saying. Looks like he has an MP5 there. But there's so much smoke, who can tell?
Yeah, it's just pretty much chaos.
It is super chaos.
Grenades everywhere.
I actually expected this to be a little bit more controlled chaos. I am actually surprised by the score right now, though. 330 points versus 182. What do you think of that deficit so far? It's getting pretty close. Is that something that's going to be hard for these guys to overcome, Sundance, or anything can happen?
Well, the problem with domination is, as I'm sure we all know, is once you get down by 100 points or so, you start to freak out. You start to take yourself out of your comfort zone, which is set up, wait for your teammates, get the flags, get into a coverage position. Right now what we're seeing is, this is anarchy. There's smoke grenades everywhere. There's grenades flying like crazy. So it starts to get you. The adrenaline starts to pump, and all of a sudden that communication goes out the window. They can come back. This game is not over by a long shot, but what they need to do is they need to regroup and come up with a strategy. Maybe slow the game down a little bit. Lose 20 clicks. Let 20 clicks go, but take that time to really come up with a plan, regroup, and get back out there. On this map, as we said, here you see an airstrike coming in. You want to take your time, and you want to really, make sure that you don't just rush out there on your own. And so far, it seems like, they're a little bit behind the eight ball on that. It seems like they're not necessarily coordinating their attack. They're just trying to get the flag back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate sometimes. We know both the desperation when you get into, and you're trying to desperately get it. Sometimes you feed right into their plan because all they got to do is basically set up on anywhere near those flags and just wait for those guys to come pouring in there to try to capture it. And it doesn't matter how many times they run in there, you can just gun them down.
Yeah. And, especially on this map, like we said, you see another helicopter there. So this is obviously, this is starting to look like it could get out of hand. But, again, it's not over because if they can regroup and maybe say, all right, forget about B, let's swoop around back and try and get A, you got to try something new. If running straight into into their guns isn't working, maybe you got to try and flank them. Come up with a different strategy.
It's 374 to 204 right now.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the lead is widening right here.
Oh yeah, they've been sitting there down there at the 200 for a while, and of course it looks like it's SKS that's the ones falling behind. Velocity is the one that I believe that Jody Robinson had picked early on in the tournament as being one of the better teams. Is that correct, Jody?
Yes. This SKS was really good with the other teams, but yeah, these guys are pretty good.
I'm following Velocity EI Motivation. He is just gunning all kinds of people down. Like in the short period of time I've been watching him, he has been doing all kinds of business. He killed like 4 guys in a row. Make that 5. So when you get into this level, I know a lot of tournaments probably are got different rules for perks and different things like that. We have pretty much everything turned on. Anything that you would definitely want here in a domination match going to 500 points, Sundance?
In terms of settings, I think for us, we always try and play it wide out. I mean, our tournament settings are a little bit different. They're a little bit more controlled. It's mostly about time, it's about respawn, and it's about length of the match and the final score. But in a game, in domination, for me, you got to have everything running straight out, because without helicopters, without an airstrike, you take out a key point of strategy. We've seen this again. Now, these guys are going to be up at a point now where even if the other team gets 2 flags, they're going to be scoring points with that 3rd flag. So what we would try and do in our settings is maybe bounce it out a little bit and make it so that that time differential, you could still win with this holding that 1 flag if your lead got to be big enough. But at the end of the day, to me, domination is it's a run and gun game type where setups only last for a certain amount of time, and then you've got to rethink your strategy. And what we're seeing right now is that one team is sticking to a strategy that's working really well, and the other team's having a hard time breaking through that.
And the one team we're seeing is at 426 points for Team Velocity. They're moments away from winning our Call of Duty 4 Conflict Zone Chaos tournament.
Can we call it a beatdown yet? Would you go that far?
434 to 231 in Sundance. Does that qualify as a beatdown in your book?
I gotta say that's it's right on the verge of a beatdown. I mean, if you're doubling up on somebody and you got helicopter after helicopter in the sky, your team's doing something right. So this has been a really strong performance for Velocity.
Oh yeah. I'm sure team captain Michael McMunn will be pretty happy when he's talking to us about how his team performed here today.
You should get him online and see if he can go pro at some of our events. It seems like his team's got some skills.
That's what I'm talking about. If we next time we do this Sundance, we'll have to have it set up because the MLG has their own Call of Duty 4 team. Is that correct?
We run an online Call of Duty tournament that runs that coincides with our live event. So if I don't see these guys on there, I'll be a little disappointed because this has been really entertaining.
Well, maybe next time we get some of your guys play against our guys and see how that shakes out.
Absolutely. And next time I'll come to you guys because this tape delay thing is a little crazy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's the power of the internet. Yeah, it's like just for folks at home that are wondering. It's like we have Sundance on the phone. We also have a connection with him that's got video. And yeah, show the shot of Sundance. It's funny because there was a delay that we were trying to work out before the broadcast that didn't work out so good. It was like a 27-second delay in terms of the video. But we got him on the phone so that way you can hear him loud and clear. And it's 472 to 247. It's a matter of time at this point. Oh yeah, so there's Sundance right there. You see him. But either way, I have to tell you, I've had a lot of fun with our Call of Duty 4 tournament. Not just today's broadcast, but with all the teams and the prelims and everything that Jody and you guys are running in the community.
I've definitely learned a lot. These guys have a lot more patience and discipline than I do. I just run and gun, chuck grenades, shotgun style, try to clear out rooms as fast as I can. But apparently I'm not doing it right, but these guys are.
Yeah, you guys are. All kinds of. So for the folks that are watching at home, Sundance 490, we're basically moments away from closing this match out. I see these guys, a lot of them are basically, one of the perks I see a lot of is having 3 grenades. Those come in handy, and they take out a lot of people, do a lot of damage. That's definitely something I roll with. Is that one that you have as well, Sean?
Which perk was that?
It's basically the 3 times the grenade, so you can basically hook out 3 frag grenades.
Oh, I love that perk.
And there you have it. 500 to 261. Team Velocity taking it. Number 1 out of 64 teams that have competed here on Tournament TV's Call of Duty 4 Conflict Zone Chaos. I gotta tell you, I was pretty happy with what I saw, Sean. Were you?
Pretty impressed. Pretty impressed.
Sundance, how did it look from your end, sir? Were you largely impressed by what you saw?
No, I mean, I think for some reason I thought it would be a little bit closer, but the skill play was great. And, you know, what I like seeing is I like seeing the team execute their strategy. And I definitely think we saw that. I mean, they nearly doubled up the score, so they were doing something right.
Excellent. I think we're going to try to get team captain of Team Velocity, Michael McMunn, on the line. Somebody's stealing his phone number right there. Oh, I'm sorry, what was that, Jody?
Does anybody know what they're winning?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you guys know what they're winning?
Oh, yeah. You actually totally know all about the prizes, don't you?
Yes.
Why don't you give us the rundown? This is some big money, big prizes today.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 500 for the first place team. Yes, each member. And $200 for the second place.
So that's not bad to say, what? It's like $3,000 for the winning team, is that right? Am I good at math or no?
Yeah, better than me.
6 people, right? 6 times 5.
6 times 5,
There you go, see
3,000.
that? So we're just waiting for Michael McMullen on the line to hear about Team Velocity and what they had to go through in order to finally win this match. Sean, any surprises from your side of what you're seeing?
I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit closer than it ended up being.
I was hoping.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all hoping for. But yeah, that was pretty exciting. Learned a lot, definitely.
Now, me and you have still yet to actually play with each other online, right?
We're going to have to do a one-on-one sniper duel on Overgrown.
I'll totally do that, dude.
No kill cams.
All right.
That way you can keep your hiding spot. That's definitely my favorite custom style.
Yeah. Hey, Sundance, is this a game that you find yourself going home and playing at night every night still?
Yeah, this is definitely on my list, and I'm excited for the new maps, you know, to see how those play out. But this and Halo are really the only 2 things in my rotation right now.
And that's right. If for folks that don't know, earlier today there was a video released of the new maps in action. So I think you can actually find that on GameSpot.com already. So after the tournament, check that out. And I think we're still waiting to see if we can get Michael McNunn on the phone, but he might have already been running off to celebrate his victory today. And yeah, so we'll wait and see. But yeah, should we call it a tournament, sir?
I think we're going to have to call it a
Oh,
tournament.
you gonna play with the night vision?
Sail off into the sunset with our night vision goggles here. I have no idea how they work.
Oh, really?
I'll probably break them. Try not to shoot me with that,
I won't
by the
shoot
way.
you. I'll shoot the camera again, though. But all right, I will shoot the camera. But Sundance, thank you so much for you and the MLG joining us today. I hope you had fun, sir. And we will work our technical problems, or we'll just get you here, like you said. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
Excellent. You
Thanks,
too,
Sundance.
sir. So for the crew, Sean, excellent as always. Jody Robinson, thank you so much for putting this whole thing together and doing all the work that you do on the tournament all 2 weeks long leading to today. Really appreciate it. And to all the players out there that competed, congratulations, of course, to the winning team. And we'll see you guys next week for the hot spot. And I think that's probably our winner trying to call in right now. But you know what? Sorry, I think that's going to do it for our week. Thank you. Here on Tournament TV. Have a good one, you guys. Goodbye.